Hey, welcome back to the shop, everybody. So, I thought I would do a tool review. I haven't done one of those in a while, and the premise here is simple. I wanted a battery-operated nail gun for those times that I don't feel like starting the compressor and listening to it run to drive 4 nails. I said, you know what? We'll get ourselves a battery-operated nail gun, and we'll see what we can do with it. Now, I made a boo-boo when I bought this thing. I should pay more attention to the packaging. If you look right here, you'll see that it says tool only. So, my mistake is your game. You're going to get two tool reviews for the price of one. Because in order to do a review on this, I need a battery. Now, there's a way you can purchase this that actually is more beneficial to you. And that is, buy the nail gun that's only the tool. Then buy the drill driver kit. You'll spend approximately $30, $40 more. You'll get 2 batteries, 1 charger, 1 drill, and 1 impact. Instead of, when you buy this as a complete set, 1 charger, 1 battery, and 1 nail gun. So, let's get on with the review. Times 2. Let's get started. Alright, so before we begin, I gotta say that this channel is not sponsored. Craftsman is not sponsoring this review. They don't sponsor me in any way. I'm just doing this because I purchased one and I thought maybe I could give you all some insight onto whether or not you'd want to purchase one of these for yourself. Let's begin by taking everything out of the boxes and see what we got. Now, I can't tell a lie. I've already opened this one to snatch the charger and the batteries out of it to get them charged up so that we didn't have to wait 24 hours. Alright, let's open up the old nail gun here and see what we got. Manual. And obviously, just the nail gun. Nothing but that other shoe in the box. So right off the bat, first impressions, it's forward heavy, but that's by design to limit the amount of recoil when you're pulling the trigger on the gun. It's only shooting finishing nails, but still all the mechanisms are up here, so that's why it's heavier forward. It's got a nice rubber grip on it. Batteries goes in here. Let me grab a battery and we can put one right in it. So here's your batteries. The back side of these batteries have a charge indicator button right here. And when you push that, 1, 2, and 3 lights to tell you the power that's left in the battery. Battery goes in like so. Pretty straightforward. Same as any other battery. To release it, you'll squeeze this black plunger, pull it back out, put it in charger, good to go. To open this, to load it, you'll push this down, and it slides back. Now I'll go ahead and throw some nails in this thing and we can get started with the actual use of this and find out if it has any power, if it's worth the purchase or not. Craftsman sells their own brand of nails, and I thought, to be fair, we'd start with theirs. I bought 2 packages, same thing. We're going to go with the longest nails, because if it'll drive the longest ones, it'll certainly drive the shorter ones. And maybe in some cases that's not true. Some guns have a tendency to jam with different sized nails. Let's start with the longest one first, though. For safety reasons, I would remove the battery before you put nails in it. The nails simply rest in the bottom slot. They fall, free float, push them forward. Close this. Let's call it a magazine. Close this till it snaps, and you're ready to go. Put your battery back in it, and this thing should be ready to fire. So there's one little point that I missed here, and that is what this little wire is for. It's a sky hook or a belt loop, and I don't know if the camera can show you that, but inside this hole there's a Phillips head screw. You slide that screw back out, I guess you're not going to slide it out, you're going to need to turn it out. Then you'll take this piece and put it back in. As you can see, the screw is out now. This is split, slide it over the screw. Then drive the screw back in to hold it in place. Don't drink too much coffee or you won't be able to hold the screwdriver on the screw head. Snug it up, and there you are. Now you've got a hook to put that thing on your belt with, to hang over a beam, etc. Alright, we're loaded. Battery's back in. We're ready to go. Let's see what it does. Now I've got some lumber here. Pieces of plywood. Ordinary 2x4. And the real test, which happens to be a piece of cherry. It's pretty hard. Now, in order to fire this, there's a safety right here. That safety has to be slid down. Let's start with the plywood. Engage the gun, push it down till it stops. Squeeze the trigger and don't let go. This has a warm-up cycle, for lack of a better term. It's not an instant fire. You have to hold the trigger and wait for the gun to go off. It's a half a second to a second, but you still can't squeeze the trigger and move the gun. Like so. You can hear it wind up and then it fires. And I nailed the plywood to my bench, so I guess they went through. They sure did. Let's see what it'll do in a standard 2x4. Same thing, nailed to my bench, so they definitely went through. Let's give it a real test now, something hard. This is cherry. Let's see what it does. All but the slightest little bit sticking out. And that is a 2-inch nail. So I would say it's a pretty good little gun. They're actually through on the other side. There's one there. Well, one of them is through, and you can just see the other one here. So all in all, I'm pretty impressed with this thing. To drive a 2-inch nail into a piece of cherry from a battery-operated nail gun, that's pretty good. Again, safety is here. Battery, indicator on the battery to tell you how much life you have left. Easy to load, comfortable grip. If you like red, it's a pretty red color. It shoots 18 gauge nails. I found another little item that I wanted to show you. Right here is a depth or power selector. You'll adjust that to determine how deep the nails go into your project. One other thing, if the nails jam, you can get them out like that. All in all, I think it's worth the money. I would buy another one. The next time I would buy, I think I would do it exactly the same way, but I wouldn't do it under the premise of a mistake. I would buy just the tool and then buy the drill and the drivers. So there's the nail gun. I think it's worth the money. I would definitely purchase one if you were looking for a battery operated nail gun. I don't know what the longevity of it will be. We'll find that out as time passes. One other thing I just noticed, there's a no oil sticker, so this gun does not require oil. Alright, there you have it. Let's move on to the drills and the driver. Alright, so like I said, I've already unboxed this, so let's pretend I haven't. We'll open it up. See what we got in here. Obviously we've got a charger and 2 batteries. I showed you the 1 battery. Now we have 2. Hi Atlas, you helping? And here's the charger. Pretty straightforward piece. Like the nail gun, it slides on rails to engage it with the charger. It clicks in place, plug it in. It has some LED lights to indicate charge or charging. Grab the plunger in the back to remove it. Good to go. These 2 are both charged up. Let's take the rest of this stuff out of the box and see what we get. By the way, my wife has come into the shop here. She's running the camera. I just got her a new purse for Christmas. As you can see, she's going to be delighted with this fancy purse.
So excited.
And here we have the drill. Alright, same rubber grip as on the nail gun. It's a drill. There isn't too many fancy things about it. We have a clutch mechanism up here. For those of you that don't know, as you reduce the numbers on the clutch, the driving force is reduced. You go all the way up to the spiral drill indicator. There is no clutch. It's full force. It'll bury the screws if it has enough power. We have a speed selector here. Nobody ever uses the 1 speed. That's a lie. Sometimes they do. Alright. Battery goes in exactly the same way as the nail gun. It slides in, snaps in place. There's the drill. Of course, we don't need the box. So here's the impact. Basically the same story. Rubber grip. Forward and reverse button is here. Battery goes in the bottom. Let's grab the other battery. Slide it in. Test to see that this one is charged. It is. This one is charged. This drill driver has a light. See on the end of my finger, when you squeeze the trigger, it has a light. This one does as well. You cannot squeeze the trigger when the forward and reverse selector is in the mid position. It locks the trigger. See if it does it on this one. Mid position, locks the trigger. What do you think, Atlas? So there you have drill and impact driver. Let's have some fun now and put a couple of bits in these things and see what they'll do. Okay, so let's start with the drill. Let's throw a bit in here and see what it does. You can spin them down this way if you want to take all day, or you can use the drill and squeeze the truck. Now, that does not lock the bit in. You have to manually turn it. That goes for all drills. Let's start with a short screw here. Alright, the clutch is all the way up. Let's put it in this piece of plywood. So as you can see, there's no clutch. It will strip the threads out on this screw. What do you think, Atlas? Which is not an issue if you're dealing with construction. But when you're dealing with something good and you don't want to wreck it like a piece of cherry, you would turn this selector down. Typically I would start with a very low number and then work my way up till I got the amount of countersink that I was looking for. So we'll start with the number 1 to show you how this clutch works. As you can see, it doesn't have enough power to even push it through at that level. So let's bump it up a few numbers. So each time you increase the numbers, it increases the power on the drill. And you would use that feature so that you don't bury your screw into your wood. And that's about it for the drill. Releasing it, Taking that out. And for those of you that don't know, it's always recommended when you're doing pocket screws to use your drill, not the impact. Because of that feature, you can reduce the amount of power so it doesn't drive the screw through the pocket hole. Alright, let's go to the impact driver now, the one that's more fun, that everybody uses. Let's see if it'll drive a screw. It'll drive a screw and not stop driving a screw. We've always got a helper here. Alright, let's try something a little bigger. Let's go with a 4-inch screw. And let's move over to this block here, Lisa. And we will see if this driver has any power. I would say so. Now, realize when you back a screw out like that, they get hot. So you want to be speedy about removing them. Alright, so we did some 4-inch stuff. Let's do something a little more challenging. Let's look at one of these big monsters. Change the bit out to the correct bit. Let's try this one. Doesn't seem to have any problem, and it split my 4x4. Alright, let's stop messing around. Let's see what it'll do with this guy. Man, oh man, I think we got a drill that'll drive something here, folks. Economically priced. For the everyday use, I would buy that drill kit hands down. For those of you that like yellow and blue drills, that's great. This one's a whole lot cheaper. For the hobbyist, it's definitely worth every penny. Now let's just, for the sake of argument, let's take one of these yellow ones. This one only has 2 lights. Let's make it fair with a full battery. And let's see if this one is much slower or faster than that one. And by my watch, that one is slower. So I believe this would be worth every penny, folks. Good. That's harder than it looks. So there you have it. Drill driver, impact, drill driver, nail gun. I think that covers everything we need to cover here, folks. I'm glad you watched. I hope you got something out of this video. As always, give us a like, a share, and a comment. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. And we'll catch you on the next one.